Hi, welcome to my inspirational webinar on the UK Global Talent Visa. Thank you very much for coming today, and I will be sharing some advice and some guidance. I'll talk a little bit about myself, what is the Global Talent Visa, the Stage 1 endorsement application and process. I will also interview Peggy, my recent client who received her endorsement for the UK Global Talent Visa, and then you can please ask your questions to myself or Peggy at the end. Just pop it in the chat or the Q&A and we'll get to them at the end. Hopefully we will have answered some of your questions during the webinar. Just a little bit about myself. If I haven't met you, I don't know if I've met all of you yet, but my name is Michelle Hua. I am Vietnamese by background and I have 3 citizenships. I have Australian, British and Irish. I am a global talent visa coach, and how I became a coach was I went through the process myself. In 2016, I was endorsed with exceptional talent, and then I became the Tech Nation Visa Ambassador for a few years. This was because back in 2016, this visa was really new and they needed ambassadors to share their stories and to help people understand the guidelines and to encourage more people to apply. And then in 2019, I applied for my indefinite leave to remain and then received my British citizenship. So I am my own success story in terms of getting the Global Talent Visa, and that leads to settlement in the UK. So I spent 7 years in the UK in Manchester and Newcastle. That's where I based myself and where I lived. And I regularly traveled down to London by train because I had a startup which I was building. I used to be a solicitor working in Australia, and then when I moved to Manchester, I got bitten by the entrepreneurship bug and became a tech entrepreneur. And that's how sort of my whole journey with the visa started. I actually won a hackathon and I developed an idea of fashionable wearable tech heated gloves, and my startup was called Made with Glove. So I entered a hackathon with some of my friends and we won. And then I obviously was worried about how I was going to stay in the UK. So I applied and got an entrepreneur's visa, which is very similar to the innovator's visa. The entrepreneur's visa is no longer in existence, but it did have an expiry date, and that was 3 years. And then that was it. I had to meet so many criteria in order to get renewed. So that's when I decided to look at the Global Talent Visa, and that's when that visa was very new. They were really promoting startups and tech entrepreneurs, and that was a way for me to stay in the UK. And thankfully, I only had a few months to apply. My visa was expiring, and thankfully, I got the Global Talent Visa. And so after I got my visa, I wrote a blog about my journey because no one was applying for it, or no one that I knew was applying for it. No, it was such a new visa. I was in the top 50 that applied and received the visa. So that I wrote a blog went viral, loads of people contacting me. That's how I became the ambassador. And then that's how I decided to become a coach in this. So I've coached over 2,000 tech entrepreneurs, senior execs, and tech employees over the years. I've been doing this for nearly 10 years now. And during COVID, I had, I was very busy. Obviously, COVID made everyone stay at home and have, really think about their careers and what they were doing, and they had time. So during COVID, I helped a lot of people from Nigeria, and I had a 100% success rate. In the summer of this year, I had a 100% success rate, but my average success rate is 90%. And some of my clients, not all of them, but some of them have received a result within 3 to 27 hours of submitting their applications. And that's a huge, huge accolade for my clients, and achievement for my clients, and accolade for myself. But the average is about 3 to 4 weeks. And then anything, shorter than that is amazing. Anything longer than that, or that they have up to 8 weeks to decide. So my clients are varied. They come from big tech companies, Meta, Google, Zoom, Spotify, Shopify, Deliveroo. I help loads of people from those big companies. But I also help founders, CTOs, CEOs, VPs, UX designers, game designers. You can see graduates, digital marketers. I help a lot of different people. Even though they may have the same titles, everyone has a different story to tell. And that's what I try to get out of my clients when I help them with their applications. And I love working with all my clients. Everyone has a different story, and I get so inspired to hear what they've been working on. And it really is an honor to work with all my clients and to hear what they've been up to, and what impact that they've made to not only their companies but also to the industry at large. Just a quick disclaimer, I only help with stage 1 endorsements. I'm not affiliated with the Home Office or Tech Nation. I'm not an immigration solicitor. I'm a coach, and I only coach in stage 1 endorsements. Once you do get the stage 1 endorsement, you can then apply for stage 2, and that's the visa. You can do that yourself, which I did, or you can ask an immigration solicitor to help you with stage 2. So over the years, I have been featured in lots of different articles, magazines. I've been interviewed. I hosted roundtables. I hosted conferences and things like that. So these are the types of things that Tech Nation are looking for when they're looking at your leadership criteria. I've been featured in TechCrunch, Business Leader. I was a judge myself at an online hackathon in IoT. So these are the things that they're looking for, because they want to know how you are an expert in your field and how you have national and international recognition in the field that you say that you have expertise in. So just bear in mind that the things that, the evidence that you gather, my biggest advice is Google yourself. What will you find? And if there's not a lot on there, that's when you should really start to look at your public profile. And I worked on my public profile, through having my startup, actually, through Made with Glove. So that was the impetus for me to start, talking about what I was doing in my startup, but also talk about the trends and insights of the wearable tech industry and the IoT industry at the time. So I didn't just focus on promoting my startup, because that's your job. That, if you have a startup, that's your everyday job. But think outside of your startup. Think about the industry. If you don't have a startup, think about the industry itself, even if you're employed, and see what insights you can share there. And that's what I did. I was interviewed by the Sunday Times. It was great. It was really good. And it's not hard, because, well, it is hard to start, but once you start, people will recognize you, and that will hopefully keep you going. And I can certainly help anyone with their public profile, because I've done it myself. And this is how it started. I wrote my blog after I received my endorsement and my visa, and this is the blog that went viral, so you can have a read of it on my website. Over the years, I've helped so many people, and especially during COVID, I've helped a lot of people online, but I've not met them face to face. So what I did last year was I hosted my first alumni event, where, I actually met my clients, and I could give them a big hug after them receiving their global talent visas. So I do host these events in London, and if you are my client, you join my alumni, and we can have, big celebrations, because this is a very lonely process. I've been there before. Once I received my visa, I didn't really have anyone to share it with. So it's really nice that, you do meet people who have gone through that same journey, and, you're connected in that way. Okay, so what is the Global Talent Visa? It used to be called the Exceptional Talent Visa, which I applied for and got, but it's now called the Global Talent Visa. Same thing, it was a special visa that was introduced to allow highly skilled tech entrepreneurs and talent the ability to apply for the right to live and work in the UK for up to 5 years. So it gives you a right to settlement, and it gives you a right to work anywhere you want to in the tech sector in the UK. It's a 2-stage process, so you have to be endorsed with Tech Nation by meeting the strict criteria set by Tech Nation, and then once you receive your endorsement, you can then apply for the visa. It is more than a job application. It kind of looks like it could be like a job application, but when you go into it in a bit more detail, especially under the leadership criteria, it is more about, as I said before, public-facing profile and your impact to the industry at large, not only to your company. And so they have a hashtag TechNation Visa, which they promoted when I was the ambassador. And it's really because the Global Talent Visa is an umbrella visa, and there are different endorsing bodies under this visa. So there's the tech route, which is endorsed by Tech Nation. There's the fashion route that's endorsed by Arts Council. There's the British Fashion Council. Then there's the arts route, which is endorsed by the Arts Council. Then there's the science, endorsed by the Royal College of Engineers. So there's lots of, and architecture as well. So there's lots of different endorsing bodies for specific sectors. And I only specialize in digital tech, and endorsing body is Tech Nation. So the benefits of the Global Talent Visa is you have the freedom and flexibility to live and work in the UK for up to 5 years. You can apply for indefinite leave to remain and citizenship after that. You can also switch if you have a Tier 2 Global Talent Visa. You can switch to so if you've got a skilled worker, you can switch to global talent, and the time in the UK that you spent under the skilled worker visa counts, and that's huge. Plus, I help so many people with that, especially when then they've been sponsored by their companies under skilled worker Tier 2, and they're looking at moving, or they're just not sure where they're whether they're secure in their job. So having the global talent visa means that they can be free to either stay in their jobs. It's an insurance against any redundancies, because I've got a lot of clients who are facing redundancies, or are quite scared that they might be made redundant. So switching to the global talent kind of gives them that breathing space and the freedom and flexibility. You can also bring your dependents with you under this visa. You can register a UK limited company, which is really important, especially for students. I help students, and they're restricted in a lot of ways. So when they do get the Global Talent Visa, they can freely register a UK limited company. You can work for a tech company without the need for a company sponsorship, as I said. It's attached to you, and it's cost effective. This was important for me, especially when I had the Global Talent Visa and I was building my startup. And, it is difficult building your startup and, not earning any money while you're building your startup, particularly if it's a product. So what I did was I took a break from my startup and I took some contract roles. I was a community manager at a tech accelerator for 3 months. So I took a break from my startup and worked in an accelerator. And then I then took on a maternity leave role for a university. I was the digital client relationship manager there. And then I went back to my startup, and there was no issue about, visa, because I had my own visa and I could do that. And I could, work on my startup, take a break, work for someone, get some money in, and then have a break as well. So that was really good, and that really did help me a lot in being free and just doing what I wanted. Okay, so some of the stats, there are 90 plus countries from where people are applying from Europe, Africa, India, North America, China, Australia, and there's a 54% endorsement rate. Those were the stats that I found back in 2020. I have sought some more recent stats. So these are old stats, but hopefully I'll get some new ones soon. But when I applied, it was 68% endorsement rate, obviously because no one knew about it. Now it's a 50, well, until I get the new ones, it's a 54 endorsement rate. Mine success rate is 90%. There's been over 5,000 successful recipients over the years. It doesn't sound a lot, but when I applied, and up until a few years ago, they did have a cap in how many people they could endorse for the Global Talent Visa. So when I applied, and up until a few years ago, there was a cap of 200 per year, which is mad if you think about it, because that's not a lot of endorsements. And so now it's unlimited endorsements. So long as you meet the criteria and the assessors feel that you do meet the criteria, you can be endorsed. You don't have to worry about this cap. The stats here, 68-32 apply for talent versus promise, and I'll go through that difference in a second. Because tech is a male-dominated industry, obviously there's more men applying, 75-25, but I do help a lot of women in tech, and I love helping women in tech. I advocate and really do want more women in the tech sector, and also to stay in the tech sector. And then you can join the bigger alumni group, the Tech Nation Visa alumni group, or if you are my client, you can join mine. I am part of the bigger alumni group as well, and they do have events in London every now and then. So there's a Slack channel and everything. So you would join that if you want to, once you get your visa. So again, these are just stats from 2020, but it'll give you just an idea. I help a lot of people in up here. They have a lower endorsement rate, okay? And then down here, more sort of the Western countries have a higher endorsement rate. I help people from all over. This one is an anomaly. from China, 86%. And don't let these stats put you off. From China at that time, there was about 3 or 4 people that applied from China, and I think out of 4 people, 3 got endorsed or something like that. That's why this is such a high number. I did check that out because it was quite interesting, because I didn't realize so many people applied, but it's not really that. It's, just because the numbers, it's not really the numbers, it's the percentage. So that's a bit of an anomaly, but that's roughly the endorsement rate there from different countries. And here you can see there's endorsement rates for different skills. Obviously this is a tech visa, so lots of software engineers are applying, but then you can see lots of business people who are applying and getting endorsed as well. And I help people from all over, tech and business skills. And this is the beauty about the tech visa. It's not just for people with hard technical skills. It does include people with business skills as well. And then these are the different sectors that people are applying from in here. And 1 in 3 have software engineers, and 1 in 4 are founders. So I get a lot of questions about, do you have to have a technical skill? No. Do you have to be a founder? No. So you can have a business skill and you can be an employee. So I help people from all over, as I said. So these are just some of these stats that I have collated in the last nearly 10 years, which is crazy if you think about it. I've been doing this for nearly 10 years, and it feels like yesterday. But as you can see, there's more and more applications coming through. Okay, there was a huge jump around here because this was, as you can see, this was around COVID time, and I was really busy around COVID, and then this shot up because COVID as well, but also Tech Nation made an announcement that they were going to close around this time, but Founders Forum did then acquire them. But there was a period where people were really worried about Tech Nation closing and whether or not this visa was going to disappear. But thankfully, Founders Forum acquired them, and then only just in May of this year, and the Home Office, they do put out tenders on who can be the endorsing body, and Tech Nation have been the endorsing body for nearly 10 years, and they had to sort of announce a new tender for who was going to be the endorsing body for the next 3 years, and Tech Nation applied again, and it was announced that they are going to continue to be the endorsing body. It doesn't make sense for anyone else because Tech Nation have been doing it for so long, so they're now still the endorsing body. You can see these applications that they keep going up and up every year, and how this starts, because it's 24, 25, 25, 26. It starts from April, 1st of April to the 31st of March every year. So that's why it's sort of like crosses over into the next year. So we started in April. So these are the applications each month in this year. So from April of this year, September 1875. So I think we're going to surpass last year's. So it is a very popular visa, and lots of people. And this is just for tech. I don't know what the others are for, but I've been keeping my eye out for the tech visa ones. Okay, so documents. You need 15 documents, 5 of which consist of your CV, personal statement, letters of recommendations by experts, and then you need 10 documents that fulfill the mandatory and optional criteria. And you have to have 3 pages per document. Okay, so there are 2 categories. You can apply as a promise or talent candidate. If you apply as a talent candidate, you should have more than 5 years experience. You're later in your career. You can prove your leadership through skills and achievements, and these are for more senior people, managers, CEOs, CTOs. And if you're going for promise, you have less than 5 years experience in tech. You're early in your career. You prove your potential to be a leader through your skills and achievements, and students, they can be students, graduates, or juniors. You can apply for this, but it still is up to the assessor to have the discretion of which one they're going to endorse you under. But if you do have more than 5 years experience, you should really go for talent. And then it's up to the assessor to decide, okay, do they want to give you talent or promise? If you have more than 5 years experience, but then you go, oh, look, I'm just going to go for promise, that might work against you. The assessor might think that you're being cheeky, and, you should go under talent. You should prove that. So I've seen that as well. So just apply for the one that suits your experience, and then let the assessor decide. So again, you can have a technical or business skill. This is not an exhaustive list, so just pick the one that's closest to you and then run with that. But then obviously your evidence might obviously say change. So don't really stick to this, because this is just a checklist when you apply. But if you have more than that, or you have, a cross between technical and business, your documents will show that. Okay. And the people who shouldn't really apply and who aren't eligible are people who work as consultants or agents. Okay, and those who are junior investors. So unfortunately, you wouldn't be eligible if you work for, consultancies like Wipro, KPMG, PwC, Capgemini, Tata Consultancy, because they're consultancies, they're not product-led companies, and that says it in here. I get loads of inquiries about that. And yeah, as I said, you can be an employee or founder. It's really 75% employees and 25% founders, which is surprising because I thought there would be more founders applying. Okay, so you need to work for a product-led digital technology company to prove some of the criteria, and that's defined as a business that provides a proprietary digital technical service, product, platform, hardware as your primary revenue source. So that takes away from the consultancy. So if your company does provide any develops any products, services, or hardware or a platform, then that would be considered a product-led digital technology company. And don't assume that the assessor would know that. You need to say that it is through your letters, through your evidence, websites of companies, explain that it is a product led, because people think that assessors would know. Assessors don't know everything, especially in different countries. So you have to convince them that yes, it is a product led, and then talk about the work that you did there. Okay, so this is the criteria. You apply for talent or promise, and then the mandatory criteria is the leadership criteria, and this is what I talked about your public-facing profile. You've got two types of leadership. You've got internal leadership within your company, and you've got external leadership within the industry. Have a look at, if it helps, do two columns. What evidence would you have under internal, and what evidence would you have under external? I go through this a lot in my Leadership in Tech course. It's an online course that's on my website, and it really does help because this is mandatory. This is a must. You have to have this, otherwise your whole application will fall. You've got 4 optional criteria, which you select 2 out of 4, and you need to provide at least 3 documents per criteria, 3 pages each. So the first one is you need to show innovation, or you can show optional criteria 2, any volunteer work that advances the tech sector. 3, you can show commercial, technical, entrepreneurial impact, okay, to the industry. And 4 is academic contributions. Now, when I applied these criteria, there were 6 criteria actually. One was certifications, but they got rid of that. And then they kind of had 2 mandatory criteria, which you choose 1, and then they had like 4 criteria, of which you choose 2. But these criteria were a bit all over the place. But I chose leadership, I chose voluntary work, and then I also chose academic contributions because I did some research work with my startup with professors. So that's the criteria that I chose at the time. So the process, there's a new process since August the 3rd. Before, okay, so now there's 2 steps. The first step in stage 1, and this is what I help clients with, is you pay and apply online at the Home Office. So it's about £561, and you pay it online at the Home Office. And then once you do your application, then step 2, once you've sent your money, you then email your documents to Home Office. Before, there was a technician portal where you upload the documents, and that was really good. I quite like that. But now they want you to email your documents, or your 14 documents, to the Home Office. The 15th document is your personal statement, which then it's uploaded at that step 1 process. Okay. When I applied, I had to print everything out and send it by snail mail. So this is kind of like a happy medium, I guess. So once you email your documents to Home Office, they have an automated email response to say thank you. They've got up to 8 weeks to decide. Just sit and hold tight. That's it. There's no way to chase them until after the 8 weeks has passed. You can't chase them in between. They might come back to you to say, just wait. But there's no point in waiting. You just need that automated email to say, yep, they've got it, and then you just wait. The average waiting time is about 3 to 4 weeks. So anything less than that, that's great. Anything more than that, you just have to wait for 8 weeks. And then if on the 8th week, the last day of the 8th week, you can then email them and chase them and say, hey, it's been 8 weeks. Please, can you please, can you find out what's happened to my application? And that's happened before with my clients, and then they come back very quickly. Okay, so you are either endorsed, successful, or unsuccessful, and you get feedback. If you are successful, you go straight to stage 2. You then apply at the Home Office, and that's your proper visa application. You pay about £200, and then your biometrics, and then your immigration health surcharge is $1,035 per year. And then once you do that, then you wait. It says 3 to 8 weeks, but it's quick. Like when I applied, it was very quick. It was within a week. Some of my clients have received it just as quick. So this process should be quick if you can get your biometrics appointment, and I think you can fast track it and pay early, but I don't help with this process. I'm just remembering from what my clients have told me and what happened to me. If you are unsuccessful, you can appeal the decision. There is no fee, but you've got 28 calendar days to respond to the feedback by the assessor, and then it goes to a new assessor, and you respond to the first assessor's feedback, goes to a new assessor, they review that and your application, and then they decide whether or not you're successful or unsuccessful. If you are successful and your appeal has been approved, you go to stage 2. If not, think about resubmitting and rejigging your application. Okay, and I help with all that. So these are the common questions. Just to round it off, am I eligible? I help with that. How do I present my documents? What's relevant information? Who can be my experts? How do I show my innovations? How do I show my impact? How do I show I'm an exceptional leader? How much experience do I need? There's loads of questions. I've received an unsuccessful result. What should I do? Should I appeal or submit? And it is overwhelming. There's so many things going on. And I had all these questions myself when I applied, and it is, again, overwhelming. I was running my startup. I was on a timeline. My visa was expiring. It was so stressful. Luckily, I did get it, but I do help a lot of clients now with all these questions. And, I've done it so many times for other people that, it's very easy for me because I'm no longer in the application because I've done it. My clients are in their work. They're in the weeds, whereas it's helpful to have someone who's not emotionally attached, who has logic, who can see it, from a holistic point of view. And that's my job. Is I have a helicopter view of everything, and I help with all that. And it is a very emotional process. Trust me, I know. So I have a website that has a lot of information, especially my eligibility questionnaire to see if you are eligible. And I've got lots of, resources, blogs, videos, packages, everything about myself, about my clients, everything's all there. So it's all there for you to have a look at. My top tips is this is your chance to tell your unique story. It's about storytelling. Someone's going to read 80, 90 pages of your application. And, it's a story. And it's a story, it's a PhD of your career, just about. Your tech network is your net worth. You really do rely on your network and your experts to help tell your story and, really shout your achievements. This process is all about self-promotion. You have to get comfortable about it. I know it can seem very awkward, and from where I come from, you don't brag about your achievements, but this is not bragging. If it happened and if you produce the impact that you needed to and it achieved great results, that's not bragging, it's telling fact. And obviously I help my clients with that. I take that awkwardness out and we go through it and we tell fact. Being eligible is one thing, but you need to meet the criteria, and that requires a strategy in putting together all 15 documents. I've helped so many people do their applications the second time around because they tried their first time, didn't really understand what the guidelines were looking for. And then once working with me, because I put together their story, I make sure they fulfill the criteria, and then their application is so different from their first because there's more detail, it's more structured, it's clear, there's a story, then it's completely different, and then they get endorsed, which is amazing. So just because you're not successful the first time doesn't mean that you're, not successful the second time. Don't give up is what I will say. Contact me sooner rather than later if you need support. Check your application, review, or have a strategy session with you. I get a lot of clients that say, I've got my visa, it's expiring in 2 weeks, can you help me? It really does put a lot of pressure on me, puts pressure on you. It's not worth it. Come to me as soon as possible so we can really work this out. I've worked with clients for a year, 6 months. It does take time, and please give yourself that time. And bonus tip, assessors don't click on links. You can only put links if you've put a screenshot and you source that link. They don't click on links, and that's in the guidelines as well. So I've got loads of packages on my website, but just briefly, you get a free discovery call with me if you're eligible. And then once you're eligible, I've got loads of packages of support ranging from online courses, my leadership in tech course, my DIY membership area that has loads of templates for you to work on if you want to do it yourself. If not, I can help you with the strategy session, really deep dive into the last 5 to 7 years of your career and figure out what documents go where, what expert's going to say what. And this is a project and it needs a plan. Any project needs a plan, and that's what the strategy session is for. Then you can upgrade to my review, or my most popular package that gives very good results is my premium coaching package. And that's one-to-one end-to-end support for stage one. And then once you get that, then you go off and do your stage two. And then I help people with appeals, and I've helped a lot of people over the years with appeals, and I know what the assessors come back with. So because I help with appeals, it does help me with your application, because I'm always thinking, I've seen feedback about this. So we make sure that we highlight things and so that you don't get the same feedback, which means you're not successful. So I have, this has not come up, but anyway, save the date. I have on the 6th of November, I have an educational webinar, which goes into a lot more detail about the Global Talent Visa. And I talk about the criteria a lot more. And so you can also ask questions about the different criteria. So I go through that. So save the date, the 6th of November. It's on a Thursday. It's in a few weeks' time. So I'll send you details about that. So now, thank you. I know I rushed through that, and I can talk about it all day, but this is about Peggy. Peggy received her endorsement within 2 weeks of submitting her application, and she's a great, great success story for me. We worked for quite some time actually, and that's not on anything. It's because people work full time, and things happen. So it takes as long as it takes, but the good thing is Peggy gave herself enough time to do this. So I'd like to welcome Peggy. Hi,
Hello.
Peggy.
Hello,
How are you?
everyone. Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for having
Hi.
me to share my experience. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Peggy. You are like a great success story. I remember working with you like it was yesterday, and it was only a few months ago that you received, maybe last week. I can't remember. It was only recent that you received your endorsement.
Yes, yes, this summer. Yeah.
Okay, so introduce yourself, please, and let people know who you are.
Okay. So first, let me introduce myself. My name is Peggy. Currently, I'm working as business development manager in renewable energy in Saudi Arabia. So my focus is on hydrogen technology and its digital applications to power the smart city projects. So before I moved to the Middle East, I was in London for 3 years. I got my MBA from London Business School. So during my time in the school, I was very active. I was the co-president of the Marketing and Strategy Club. I am the solo president of the Music Club. And also, I worked for two technology companies, and one is a UK-based language learning app, and another one is a US-based live streaming digital platform selling second-hand luxury goods. So prior to London, I was in Shanghai, in China. I was doing brand marketing for Apple's audio brand called Beats by Dre for 6 years, and helped Beats to become the number one audio brand in the local market within just 3 years. So this experience really helped me to build a very strong foundation in digital strategy, cross-culture communication, and also the business growth. And also in the past few years, I attended some technology conference as panel speakers. I also won two awards, one from Middle East, one from China, for my leadership and also my achievements in the digital technology industry. Yeah, so that's me in a nutshell.
That's amazing, Peggy, because you didn't say that when we first met. And it's so lovely to hear you summarize yourself with such great confidence and and impact. And it makes me so proud that I think this process has helped you do that.
Yeah, yeah. Like at first, I had so many doubts, and I know about global talent visa, but I never had the courage to really start the real action. Because when I look at the requirement, it's like very overwhelming. So I wasn't confident enough at the beginning. Yeah.
Okay, so why did you apply for the Global Talent Visa?
Yeah, so things changed at the end of last year. So actually, I always had a dream that I want to try the entrepreneurship. I want to do my startup. So I got into a UK-based accelerator program to do my climate tech startup. And then I met a few peers from the cohort, and some of them received the endorsement from technician. And then they look at my resume, they're like, okay, Peggy, you should apply. So they encouraged me to apply. And they also mentioned that with the admission of this accelerator program, I can go through the fast track. So I'm like, okay, I'd better just take advantage of this. So that is a moment that I really take time to do the research to look into the process. So at beginning, I was very ambitious. I was like, I can just do it all by myself, and I spent more than months just to read line by line the guidance and look through all my evidence. But then the problem is, the more I look into it, the more question I have. Just for example, like so many amazing people I have met throughout my career, like who should I reach out to write the recommendation letters. And then you have different criteria on the global talent visa, like OC 1, 2, 3, 4, like which one I should pick. And once I pick, just for example, I work for different companies, at which company I should use. And then I did so many different projects under the same company, like which project would show my impact. So like just so many questions. And then eventually I'm like, this is too much. I have a full-time job. I'm working on the startup. Like maybe it's better for me to seek help and guidance from the expert. So then I reached out to different experts and including you. And eventually I decided to go with Michelle because I just felt more comfortable. And also throughout our communication, I built a trust. For example, like when I chat with other experts, like after the initial 20, 30 minutes call, they are like, okay, Peggy, we can help you just sign the contract and send us the money. And I'm like, okay, that's very vague. Like I still don't have a clue how exactly are you going to help me. But with Michelle, like we had an intro call and you look at my background. And then we had second the strategy call 3 hours. And that is a moment that I built a trust and confidence to really move forward with you and to finish this application. Yeah.
Oh, that makes me feel really lovely. Thank you so much. And it is a process. And because I've been through it myself, it does take a lot of trust in someone who can help you and understands, how stressful it is. And I know we need to take it step by step at a time. And having that plan, I think, helps because you can see what your application would look like overall before you get into it because otherwise I've done it. I've been through it and going through the application without a plan. You're going around in circles. So I thought, no, if I'm going to help someone, we need a plan so we both can work towards, the plan and have that in mind. So I'm really pleased that that really did help you because it's what I needed when I started. I was going around in circles. Now, because you're a founder and an employee, there were other options for you to go instead of the Global Talent Visa. Can you talk me through the other options that you did think about before deciding on the Global Talent, like the Innovators Visa
Yes.
or
So
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, good question. So After I finished my MBA from London Business School, I got the graduate visa, but that only valid for 2 years. At first, my plan was to settle down in London, but life happens. I got this amazing opportunity to work on futuristic projects in Saudi Arabia. So I'm like, okay, um, it's like I want to take the chance. So I moved to Saudi Arabia, but then deep down in my heart, I'm like, one day I still want to move back to the UK. Um, and then for the skilled worker visa, I need to get the sponsorship first. And then for the innovator visa, still like there are many restrictions. You need to prove you grow a business every year and etc. So I felt like global talent visa would give me so much more freedom and flexibility. So I don't need to worry about if I don't have a job the next day, and I can just like either work on my startup or join an organization. So it's just so much better in terms of like giving you the sense of stability in your life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. And stability is really key because not only do you have a visa, but it's a visa towards settlement.
Yes.
And I've had clients buy a house straight away or an apartment, because they know that they're going to stay in London. They have the opportunity for settlement. So that's really nice. And you do need that in your life sometimes, a bit of stability, future wise. And we did talk about your future when we were doing your application. But okay, so let's talk more about your application. And you mentioned experts, like you've worked, so long in this career. You have international experience, but you can choose so many experts. And who did we choose for you, for your experts to help you?
Yeah, good question. So it's really take me a while to figure out who should I reach out to, and eventually I got 4 letters. So recommend 3 recommendation letters and 1 support letter. So for the recommendation letters, the first one I got from the CEO of the UK company I worked for. He is a very well-known leader in the tech industry and also very supportive despite his busy schedule. Because when I was in the company, I was fortunate enough to get exposure to this CEO, and we used to work on the project together. And the second expert is the director from the US company that I worked for. We also work closely on several projects, so he knows my work very well. He also has been working in the industry for more than 20 years, and he himself has won so many industry awards, so he can talk about me in details. And the third expert is a faculty member from my business school. So he also has more than 20 years experience, and his focus is in the tech industry. And besides that, he can also talk about my leadership and my achievement during my MBA study. And I actually use that as one of my evidence. And for the support letter, it is a program manager from the accelerator program. So she helps me to talk about like how selective the program is and what's the reason like why they pick me and why they believe that I would be successful. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really nice to read all those letters. You had such great people support you, and this is about your network. As I said, your network is your net worth. Without them, your application wouldn't have been as strong. And talking to them and really making sure that they understood, what this visa meant for you, that they were able to support you. So it was really good. It was really nice to read them. It was really nice for you to say, yeah, they said yes to support. And it is hard asking people to write letters for you.
I know.
It's
Yes,
really hard.
it's a little bit nerve-wracking because like you know them, but it doesn't mean that you keep talking with them. So after a few years, and then I just reach out of blank. It's just like I'm so afraid they would just like ignore me, ghost me, or whatever. But they're very supportive, so I'm very
Yeah,
lucky. Yeah,
that's really nice. And this is an opportunity for you to reconnect with people that you
yeah,
haven't, spoken to in years. And then that starts things up again. And you can always, now you can go back and if you haven't, say thank you. It really did work.
yeah.
Now I just wanted to let everyone know that there's new updates since Peggy applied, and that is the accelerators. There used to be a fast track option for but for listed accelerators where they make the decision quicker in your application. Not that the decision would be successful, but that's now no longer in existence. So even if you're an accelerator program, that won't quicken the process. So that's no longer there, which is unfortunate. When I applied, they had a fast track option, not in accelerators, but because I based myself in the north of England. So, because they wanted more startups in the north of England, they fast tracked my application, so I could get my result quicker, not to get the decision of a yes or yes, but a yeah. So it was very similar, but that's no longer in existence either. So there have been changes over the years. Okay, so let's look at your criteria now that you've picked your experts. What criteria did we go for?
Yes, so besides the three recommendation letter and the MC, I picked OC2 and OC3. So for OC2, I one evidence is me as panel speaker for a conference, and the second one is the industry award that I received. For OC3, I use evidence from the two different technology companies I used to work for, and then I also use the public evidence to link back to the evidence that I talk about to show that they are legitimate. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it's important. I think OC3's had a few sort of changes in the way the assessors are assessing the evidence, and anything that's public that links you to the work that you've done with your companies, that's always a good thing. That wasn't kind of accepted before, but now I'm seeing that it is being accepted. So it's great that you got that and you have evidence of it. Okay, so let's look at timing. So we worked together really hard, and then you were one of my 100% success rates over the summer. So when did you submit your application, and when did you receive your result for stage one?
Yeah, so for stage one, I submitted my application back in 24th of June, and then I received the result 3rd of July, so about 10 days.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That
Yeah.
is crazy. And when you emailed me, I was like, what, already? That's so good.
Yeah, but at first I thought like, okay, I also use fast track, so I
That's
I
true. That's
should
true.
receive the result within 5 days, but I
Oh,
didn't. Yeah,
is
so but
is that
yeah,
what it was? Was it 5 days? I didn't realize that.
I think it's 5 days, yes, but I
Oh.
no complaint, no
Oh,
complaint.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Because when I did it, it was 20 days. I knew it was fast track, but it wasn't really
yeah.
specific in the days. I know that mine was 20 days, which is still a
Mhm.
long time. But 5 days,
Yeah.
oh, true, that's true. They were late then. But you got the result in the
Yes.
end.
Yes.
Okay, so stage two. So this is the visa.
Yes, so after stage one, I just like, okay, I have 3 months time, so I wasn't in a hurry. I did stage two all by myself. So I made appointment with embassy in the middle of August, and then I received the visa back at the end of August. And then in September, I go to the government website and got the e-visa. So that's my
Ah,
whole timeline. And
yeah.
now I think I need to, so after I receive the visa, initial visa is 3 months. So I need to enter the UK to activate it. So I plan to go back in November. Yeah.
That's exciting. It's really exciting. I'm so pleased, Peggy, because it's so crazy because we worked so hard and so for so many months on your application. You
Yeah.
received your result in 10 days and then you got your like that. I feel like the process has been really quick since we submitted.
Yes, but then before the submission, it just take forever. Like at first, I was so ambitious. I was like, Michelle, can we do it within just 1 month? And then okay, 3 months. And then no, I need more time to polish everything. So eventually, it takes 6 months. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I know you did have like, yeah, you wanted to apply early, but things happen, as you say. You have a deadline, but you can't control everything. There are things, evidence needs to be right. Even waiting for your experts to sign, to give you
Yeah.
the letter. It's really, you
Yeah.
can't quicken that. I had to wait 3 weeks for my expert to sign the letter, to send and sign the letter, and I was just like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So
So.
even at the end, like you told me, it's okay. to go. And actually, I still spend one extra week to go through all the evidence to make sure like all the English is British English. There is no typo. Like I just read line by line, extra careful. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And with yours, we had translation documents to translate as well. So um, there's requirements and guidelines around translation. So we had to make sure that was all good, and it was. It just added more documents to your evidence because there was the translations, and yeah, it's just
yeah,
trying to fit everything in.
yeah. So for translation, that because it's not in English, so need to translate. But then, you need to find the professional translator to do that. So what I did is after the translation, I also attached their professional certifications, to show that this is official. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, their stamps and everything. Okay. So now you've been through the process once, which is great because it's once is enough. What advice would you give to applicants going through this process?
A few, I would say. First, I would say find an expert would really save you lots of time, especially people like me who has a full-time job and you also have some side hustle. So this really can save you lots of time and can help you to focus on what is really important. And second, I would say to really start to build your profile from now on with a future application in your mind. Just for example, if you want to use OC2, then maybe now you can be more active and apply to be a speaker at a conference, be a mentor, and apply for award to show your impact and leadership. So there are actually lots of work that you can prepare and you can plan in advance. Um, Third one, I would say also like to document your achievements. Don't wait until the last minute. Last but not least is really I want to echo what you said before is don't give up and trust the process. And especially I remember when I had session with Michelle, like she always like push me and to write the best evidence as possible. But sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, again, like I have to revise it again, like to redo the work. But it's really like push you to be the best version. Yeah.
Ah, thanks, Peggy. And I'm sorry, I know I challenged you a lot, and I could see sometimes you were like a
I
bit
need that.
deflated, but I'm like, yeah, it's like, no, it's for your own good. It's really good now, but it can be better. Because I can see and I have that faith in you that I don't. And also, I don't want to see your face if you are unsuccessful, and I could have helped, I could have pushed you. So that's something that I want to prevent is unsuccessful applications and appeals, and I want to push you while I can, but not break you. I'll push you, but not
Yeah.
break you. But no,
No,
you
yeah,
always came back. Like you were amazing to coach because even though it was like, can you just do this better? Or you would always say, yes, let me try. You never said, no, do I have to? You said, yes, let's do it. And which is really nice because I'm here for you. I wouldn't do it
yeah,
otherwise, and I want you to get the result, and you did. And I'm so proud of you. You did. I did push you a lot and challenged you, but um, you can be very proud of your application. I love, when my clients receive their endorsement, I never say that you will get it because it's up to the assessor. But what I
mhm,
do is give you the strongest chance and the strongest application.
yeah,
But when you do get your result, or when my clients get the result, I always look back at their application and said, of course they would get it. Of course they would. But obviously, you just don't know. But I hope
mm,
that you will keep your application for, to read in the future. If you're feeling down or if you're feeling, something's at work gone wrong, read your application again because all those letters, it all makes you feel good about yourself because it's all about your achievements, really. This
yeah,
application is about everything you did in the last 5 to 7 years. Yeah.
yes, exactly,
Really
yeah.
nice. Yeah. Okay. So I've got some questions, but I want to finish these last two questions. What does a visa mean to you, and what did you learn about yourself?
So this visa means not only just a permit for me to move back to the UK, but it is it is also a validation for my professional achievements and my leadership. And especially through the whole journey, it's like a self-reflection, and it led me to rediscover my story, my strengths, and my aspiration, like why I would do this. Um, so yeah, so I really appreciate this whole journey.
Oh, that's really nice. And I'm so glad because, yeah, your confidence shot right up, which is what I love to see. That's the transformation that I see before my very eyes when you're working on your application. So proud of you. And what are your exciting plans now?
So now because I still have ongoing responsibilities here in Saudi, so now I'm trying to navigate like how to balance Saudi and UK, and maybe in the future find the right time to move back. And also I need to really think about like should I continue my entrepreneurship or should I join organizations? So now it's all I'm cooking it, I'm cooking it. So
You're cooking.
we'll see.
Well, you have that choice. You can decide what you
Yeah,
want to do. You can have your side hustle, but also apply for jobs like I did. You've got the time and you've got the
yeah.
freedom and flexibility. And I'm just so excited for you, Peggy. You've just got so many options. And sometimes that's worse, but no, but it's good. Like you've got so many options and it's up to you to decide. No one can decide for you.
Yes.
Yeah, really happy. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think you can forever keep reflecting. And when you get to London, you're just going to see it through different eyes because it's like, this is my home now. You can really, settle if you want to. Yeah,
Yes, because London always feels like my second home. So
yeah.
I'm
It is
really looking
exciting.
forward to move back. Yeah.
So happy and so happy to welcome you to London and for you to make such big contributions. You already have made huge contributions to the UK tech sector in London, and you're gonna make even more. I can see that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we've got some questions here. Someone's asked, is there any hope for anyone who is just starting out in tech? As Peggy said, you start building your profile now. This is a journey. Peggy already had some of the things that we needed. And I already had some of the things that I needed, but I had actually been preparing for my application years before the Global Talent Visa came out. And when I applied, it just so happened that I had them. But if I'd known about them, I would need to spend time in gathering the evidence and doing the things because they want to make sure that you're a leader in your field, not for the purposes of the global talent, but for the purpose of you are a leader. So I think definitely start now and it will take you time. As Peggy said, it can take, 6 to 12 months to build your evidence. And don't let that put you off because time goes by so fast and the more you do and the longer you take, the stronger your evidence is and your application is going to be. But don't wait too long, obviously. Like, when I work with people, it's, 3, 6, 12-month plans. And that's what my leadership in tech course is for. You have the plan, you do it, revise, keep working on it because this is almost like a professional development course, I would say. You've completed a course, Peggy, that you didn't know that you were in because you were applying for the visa. But I feel like you've done a whole professional development course right here. Yeah. So is it compulsory for support letters to have letterheads? No, but it you should just to make it look obviously more professional. I've had questions about, certain companies don't allow people to use their letterheads. So what we've done is make the letters personal. So the letterheads personal. So just put their name up top in big, bold writing. That constitutes as a letterhead if their company won't allow them to use the letterhead. So that's a way to get around the letterhead option. But obviously make the letter look, professional and ask your experts to help you with that. Um, and one question is, must your recommenders work in product-led companies or community leaders are qualified to write these letters? Yeah, community leaders, so long as it's in your field of expertise, who can, confirm and validate your contributions to the tech sector and your field of expertise. Um, Consultants aren't usually allowed. It says it in the guidelines to write letters, but those community leaders definitely. I've had so many. Peggy had people from the university write letters as well. So it's not just product led. It just depends on your story. So I hope that helps. But I think that's it with the questions. There's not many other questions. If you've got any other questions, please do put them in before we finish. But if you have access to emojis on your screens, on your keyboards, if you can help me congratulate Peggy with a thumbs up or a clap emoji or a love heart emoji. Um, I don't know. Oh, here it is. There we go. Yay. I've got one. I love seeing it. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Peggy. Yes, I will send recordings. Oh, look, everyone's saying thank you. Yes, the recording is going to be on YouTube this afternoon, but I will send a newsletter out attaching it. So just watch out for that. So have a look at my YouTube channel for all my recordings. I record most of my webinars. So thank you so much. Oh, look at these lovely messages. I love seeing them. They
Yeah,
keep coming.
yeah.
It's really nice to see, and it's something that I love doing because we can't obviously talk to everyone. But thank you, and I will leave it here now. Thank you so much. Thank you, Peggy. Any last words at all?
Yes, I want to say thank you again, and this really means a lot to me. And I really think that I wouldn't go through the process without your guidance. And maybe one more tip that just came to my mind is that that the importance of the story, like when you write your personal statement, you have to connect all the evidence that you showed, like show what you did in the past and then what you achieved so far, and then why those things would lead to your future success. So how are you going to tell this story? And I believe Michelle would help you guys. But yeah, so just keep that in mind. Yeah.
Thank you, Peggy. Yes, storytelling is it's all about the storytelling. But yeah, that's why I love working with everyone. Everyone has a different story to tell, and you should share your story because you've got so much experience. And I love listening to everyone's stories, especially yours. You've got so much experience, and I'm so looking forward to hearing and seeing you and seeing what impact you're going to make to the tech sector in the UK.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, I want to say goodbye now. Thanks,
See
Peggy.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.